The former SAFTU president, Chavalala, is with us now. He was suspended a few months ago. Now a new leadership is in office as of today. He's with us to talk about the future then. Mr. Chavalala, very good evening to you. Thank you for coming in. First things first, does this new leadership have your full support?
Indeed, and good evening, Tembekile, and good evening to the newsroom listeners. And congratulations to the newly elected leadership. I'm fully in support of the new leadership. And for the first time, I think, in the history of the labor movement in South Africa, where 4 of the top 6 are women. And for me, that's a great achievement. They are leaders in their own rights, where they are coming from their different affiliates. So I think the future looks bright for the Federation. Your
downfall, shall we call it, began with the intention to suspend the General Secretary, Zwelinzima Vavi, who's now been re-elected this week. He's part of this new leadership collective. The concerns that you had about him around the use of funds and alleged close links to his former political home via COSATU, have those fallen away?
No, the Congress would have pronounced that the matter around Comrade Vavi will now be further investigated. The Central Committee, National Executive Committee before Congress resolved that that matter must then be given to the Finance Committee of the Federation to further investigate. You will be aware that when this matter started, we were all in the meeting of the National Office Bearers, where the Treasurer would have presented a report, a finance report that highlighted some what we called then suspicious transactions, which was discussed, and of course that led to what you have just said now. But Comrade Vavi was also in that meeting.
Yeah. But he's now been re-elected, which suggests that the general leadership, or at least the delegates who were present at Congress, have full confidence, regardless of whatever allegation has been brought forward against him.
Of course, you know.
So is it proper then for a union federation to elect someone who still has a question which, by your account, has not been answered definitively?
Yeah. Look, I think the Congress is the highest decision-making structure in the federation, and it can overrule any other sub-structure. But in this case, I'm happy that Congress was firm that this matter must be taken back and further be investigated by FinCom. My personal view is that it will not be a good thing for anyone to be appointed or elected in a leadership position with a cloud hanging over your head. But in a trade union movement, it's a different issue altogether.
You believe SAFTU erred in allowing Vavi to run and ultimately be re-elected, given the misgivings or the allegations, the suspicion around him?
I'm saying the matter was brought to the Congress. Congress debated that matter, and Congress, in its own wisdom, decided that that matter must be deferred. So Congress is aware of what is happening, and the fact that this matter is going to be further investigated. By the way, that report was partially presented by the National Treasurer of NUMSA. Just touch on it by indicating that indeed there are reasons to further investigate as per their preliminary investigations.
Are you satisfied with the way Congress was run? Because it wasn't smooth sailing from the very beginning.
Indeed, I think the first thing that one must say is to really apologize to the over 700,000 members of the affiliates of SAFTU for the late starts. I personally don't think that it was really necessary to take that long, to start before we start a Congress, because those matters, I think, are matters that could have been dealt with way prior Congress. And for those issues to take 2 days to 3 days, I think it was not a good thing.
Do you think then that a split remains a very real possibility? Because the divisions, yes, a new leadership has been elected, but not all of the division has been done away with. I mean, Irvin Jim remains in post, Vavi's back now, and that is unlikely to be a battle that's over just because conference has ended.
Well, I hear about the battle of Jim and Vavi, and I'm not going to talk about that because I don't have facts around that. But what I know is that Congress was very clear that, and all affiliates united behind the unity question, that going forward, now that Congress has come and gone, all affiliates will be expected to really come back together and unite the workers behind the federation, because that's the only hope of the workers, this federation, and we cannot fail the thousands of workers there that are being exploited by employers on a daily basis.
But is the risk of a split of SAFTU a real one in your mind?
From where I'm sitting, no. I don't see a split, and I don't see where the split will be coming from. I don't think if, for example, you are making reference to NUMSA as an affiliation. I mean, it's a known fact that SAFTU came as a result of the NUMSA 2013 what was called groundbreaking resolutions after NUMSA's dismissal from COSATU. So I don't see NUMSA being part of that split.
I know you said that you don't have the facts around this reported Zwelinzima Vavi versus Irvin Jim split, but away from the television cameras and the newspaper reporting, is that an issue that is being discussed by yourselves as senior members of SAFTU?
What
the fact that there has been a fallout, which some say is now having an overall impact on SAFTU and its standing?
Well, I think it more than any other thing. From where I'm sitting, I think it has been an issue that has been pushed a lot by the media, than the two of them. Taking a platform and saying, or Vavi saying, you, Irvin Jim, this and that, and Jim saying, you, Vavi, this and that. But I have had the opportunity of working with the two of them, and from where I'm sitting, I've never seen them, basically fighting or changing harsh words.
But are either of them worth SAFTU collapsing or splitting?
Sorry?
Are either of them worth a split in SAFTU?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Remember, these are the difference between other federations and NUMSA as a union where Jim is coming from and myself coming from, is that these are principled organizations. For example, NUMSA is a worker control organization, so it's not led by one individual. To an extent that if Jim decides to go today, NUMSA will remain intact. Equally, if Zwelinzima Vavi decides to leave today, the federation will continue. Okay. So I don't see that having an impact in any way.
Former SAFTU President Chavalala, good to have your time. Thank you.
Thank you.